10K per month with an online coaching business is actually stupid simple. This is the magical number for a lot of people, including myself, because 10K a month sounds like a lot compared to a lot of jobs, and it is. Just like anything else, there's hard ways to hit this goal, but there's also really easy ways to be able to do it. Today, I'm going to show you the easiest way to do 10K per month coaching people online. My goal for you is that you hit 10K per month so that you can see that this is just the starting line. And if you can hit 10K a month, you'll start to see more abundantly, and you'll start to see what endless possibilities there are when you have an online business and you're not trading your time for money anymore. I'm Chris. I've done over 7 figures with my own online coaching business selling to the hardest industry possible, broke musicians. So if I can do that, you can be successful in your industry. This is absolutely the biggest mistake when most people start a new business. They think that since they're new, they should start by selling products a little bit cheaper. That way, over time, as they get more experience, they can raise their prices. To a degree, that's right, but this also makes it really hard for you to grow a business that is actually profitable so that you can sustain continuously growing this business. Again, new business owners, they think they sell low product, then they create something a little bit more expensive, and then they create their top tier offer. There is the secret trick that elite business owners do, and I'll share that with you in a minute. But first, what we got to understand is just basic math in making money. Okay, so any business, for them to make money, what has to happen? You have to get people to actually give you money in exchange for a product or a service that you give them in return. In order to get people's attention on your product, you have to have traffic, you have to do marketing, and you have to gain their attention in one way or another. How do we get people's attention? You have to use one of 2 resources to be able to get people's attention. One being you spend the time to go out and make sure that people know you exist. That could be flyers, business cards, social media ads, YouTube. It doesn't matter, right? You have to use one of these mediums and spend your time in order to gain their attention. The second resource is using your money instead of using your time to get people's attention. And that means paying for ads, billboards, TV commercials. A couple of those don't work as well anymore, but let's say it's just advertisement. With time, you only have so much of it, so you can only do so much in order to get enough of people's attention. With time, it's a limited resource, so you can only do so much in that period of time that you have to get people's attention. So you could message them on Instagram, you could put out flyers. Whatever you do, it's gonna take some of your time, so at one point you'll run out. With advertisement, you're also spending money, which is another limited resource. So think about this. If you need to get enough people's attention in order to make a profit, you're either using your time or your money. It doesn't matter how much you decide to charge, it still costs the same to get that attention. If you message 10 people and you decide to sell them something for $1 versus $100, you still have to message those 10 people and spend that time. If you decide to show 1,000 people an ad, you still have to spend the same amount on that advertisement if you decide to charge $1 or if you decide to charge $100. If you're starting a new business, you're limited on time and resource, why would you charge less for something than charging more when you're going to spend the same amount on that attention? The cost of time or money to gain attention is the same no matter how much you decide to charge. So what do you think is cheaper or easier? Getting 100 people to spend $100 so that you can hit 10K, or getting 2 people to say yes to you on a 5K offer? That means you only need to spend enough time or spend enough on ads in order to get 2 people to say yes versus 100 people to say yes. It's just basic math. If you charge more, you make more money. This is an undeniable concept. Math is math. 2 plus 2 does not equal 5 no matter what you do. So if you charge more, you make more. To bring this back, the average person who starts a new business believes that they should charge less before they start raising their prices. People who are very good at business always charge more, and then they start building out products that are cheaper to hit the masses because they understand the concept that I just explained to you. If we look at when Tesla came out, Elon Musk clearly knows business at this point, even if you don't like him. When Tesla came out, I don't know if you remember, but they came out with something more expensive first, the Roadster. The thing is, he didn't even have this product yet. He created this event, invited a bunch of people, and he explained the concept of this car. So the car wasn't even produced yet, and he asked people to put money down, and he would send them the car once it was finished being produced years later. It was sold out Everybody wanted it. But only a small fraction of the entire market could afford this car because it was 100 or 200K. So even though he was talking to a smaller market, he knew that if he could get the money from that smaller market that could afford it, he would be able to start investing that money into the mid-tier. So that's the Model X and the Model S. So he came out with the mid-tier, made money from that, and then he finally created the Tesla that was for the general public, which is the Model Y and the Model 3, which is the one you see on the road constantly today. What he did was validated the concept of a car before he produced it. He got the money, produced the car, sold it to the people. He made enough money, so he created a mid-tier because he knew he would have to reach more people in order to sell enough units of that mid-tier. And once he did that, then he moved on to the low tier for the general public. Because it costs more to get more attention to sell more units. What I'm saying is the cheat code to having a profitable, successful new business is to start high and then slowly move down. So number one, charge more instead of less. Don't create some sort of course. What you should do is actually get people a result so that they can charge more. So the first thing you need to do is create your offer. The offer is the most important part. This is the thing that you give people so that they give you money. So if it's not good, they're not going to give you money. It's as simple as that. When people buy something or any business starts some kind of business, the only one question that they ask is, what is a problem that we can solve that's keeping people up at night? No matter what you buy on the market, it's always solving a problem. If you buy a fidget toy, it's solving the problem of people's restlessness. If you're selling a phone, you're selling the fact that they can reach anybody in the world. Like, you got to find out what kind of people you want to help and what problem is keeping them up at night. So if we think of a guitar player, let's say, what are the problems that keep them up? If someone wants to do guitar as a career, like, what are their problems? Is it being able to improvise or play any song that comes to their head so that they can play with other musicians? If there's somebody who wants to play in the studio, is it somebody who can write any song that they hear in their head? Like, what are the problems that are keeping them up at night? Your first thought is probably, well, there's so much information on the internet, YouTube, why would they pay me in order to give them the same thing? That's the difference. You don't want to sell more information. People don't want information. What people want is an actual transformation in their lives. Information is just a piece of that puzzle. It's not going to solve everything for them. If information was the only thing that you needed to be successful, then we all know in order to get fit, lose weight, we have to work out, we have to eat healthy. Why is most of America obese? The information is there. That's not the only thing they need. You first define your market and figure out what problems are keeping them up at night. Your product is the solution to that problem. And what you're selling them is the transformation from where they're at to their life once they've solved that problem. It's not about your accolades. It's not about you. It's not about what kind of business or brand or any of that. It's the transformation. If you can convey the message well enough to where they understand that that transformation is worth more than the money you're asking for, and you can prove that you can give them that transformation, that's when they pay you. It's not all the other stuff. The other things are cherries on top, but in order to hit your first 10K, that's the only thing you need to prove to them. That's the only thing you need to solve. So now what you want to do is go out and find exactly where your market's at. Maybe they're in a position where they're intermediate piano players, but they want to be pro level. Create a roadmap. This is where they're at. This is where they want to be. What are the milestone steps in between that they need to hit in order to get to this result? So now that becomes all the lessons within your coaching program. At this point, a lot of people will map this out. They'll sit in their homes and they'll record all these lessons and spend all these months on all this. And then they'll try to sell the program and then nobody wants to buy it. So then they get discouraged and they're like, well, I'm going to give up now. If you don't want that to happen to you, what you want to do is just outline all of your lessons. Don't create all of it yet. What we got to do is we got to sell the product and try to validate it first. Make sure people want to buy it before we go in depth with it, just like Tesla did. As soon as you have this idea, now what we need is we need attention on this offer that you just created. I'm not going to dive into ads in this video. That's a little bit more advanced, but that is a way of just pumping steroids into your business and growing it a lot faster. However, you can still get to 10K and beyond not having ads. So attention is the next thing that we need on our offer. This means you can put up flyers, hand out business cards, send out cold messages, post content. Of course, a couple of these are a little bit more effective in this day and age than the others. So I wouldn't suggest business cards or flyers. That's very limiting because only people in your physical proximity will get to be aware of what you're doing. So what I would suggest is posting social media content, but also messaging people who look like they could use your offer. So with content, I like to do it a little bit different because getting the attention of somebody who will actually pay you is different than getting the attention of the masses. Viral content is not necessarily what we want. Virality actually creates a lot of noise for you to filter through and see who is actually willing to pay you. And what goes viral is general things like entertainment, stuff like that. What you want to do with your content is create messages around breaking beliefs of your ideal client. Ideal client meaning the person who is a perfect fit for what you're offering. Think about the things that are going through their head that are keeping them from being successful with what they want. What we want to do is break those beliefs. For example, there's a lot of conventional wisdom, meaning that most people in the market believe one way. And if you're able to break that myth that that's not true for them to be successful and show them your way, that's how people remember you. People remember people that change the way that they think. They don't remember people who just give them a step-by-step direction. Think about the last time that you read an instruction manual and you remembered it. And you were like, that was a great instruction manual. People don't care about the step-by-step until you've actually bought the thing. Would you ever go to IKEA and get the instruction manual to a table that you haven't bought yet? Put this leg together, put this leg together. Nobody cares. You only care about that once you've bought the table so that you can assemble it. So it's the same thing here. What you want to do is change their perspective. A common one in music production and in the hip hop music production world is that you have to create a BeatStars account and you have to sell leases for like $30. The way I help them overcome a different perspective is that most artists who are serious aren't buying $30 beats. What they're doing is they're spending more because their career means more to them, so they want the best of the best, not the cheapest. So I create content just talking about stuff like that. And that's what attracts the people that are more likely to buy your thing, is when you can shift one of their beliefs. So that's the type of content I would make. The main thing that I would really focus on is sending people messages. This is almost like door-to-door knocking, except you're on the internet and you're able to see inside the person's house, their Instagram profile, before you even speak to them. If you're wanting to teach people how to sing, guess what? You can use hashtags. You can go to other vocal coach influencers or people within your market and just go through their following. What you want to do is go through their following, find people who could benefit from your offer, and engage with them. 2 likes, 1 comment, and 1 DM. Start the conversation and relate to them in some way. Then you want to dive in and just find out what their problems are, what their goals are, what they've tried, and why this is a priority for them. So start a lot of conversations like this. And most people think a lot is like 20. I'm talking about like 100 messages a day, because it's the law of averages. If you start 100 conversations per day, a small percentage of that is going to reply to you, and a small percentage of that is going to want to speak to you and learn more about it. So this is the grind with owning a business. It's not easy. You don't send 10 messages and you're like, oh, nobody's responding. You send hundreds. Most people aren't willing to do that. So if you're willing to do that, you're ahead of the curve. And that's why there's only so many business owners. You got to do things that are more difficult and most people aren't willing to do. So have the conversation with them in the DMs, then ask if they want to book a call, get them on the phone. And what you're going to do is you're going to ask them some questions about why they're stuck, what they need help with, and then you're going to present your offer around the things that they told you they were having trouble with, if your offer can solve that problem for them. And then you make them an offer where you work alongside them, teach them the concepts, and help them get to the transformation. And again, remember, you don't want to sell them on features like, this is the lesson I'm going to teach you, this is what's going to happen. You want to sell them on the transformation that they're going to have once they're done working with you, because that's what's more valuable in their head. They don't care about lessons. They don't care about one-on-ones. Those things just sound like work to them. It just sounds difficult, right? If I told you, hey, I'll help you lose 20 pounds, but you're going to have to eat once a day, you're going to have to intermittent fast, you're going to have to lift at least 3 times a day, you're going to have to do 5 hours of cardio. To somebody, losing the 20 pounds sounds great, but all the work in between sounds difficult. So now you're just creating more resistance in their mind to make a decision to work and move forward. However, if I said, I can help you lose 20 pounds, it'll only take 2 months. So now it's a shorter period of time. You can still eat the things you want. We'll just have to adjust a few things. But once you lose that 20 pounds, you're gonna feel so much better that you can run around and play with your kids without running out of breath. So that's selling the transformation. Then if they want that, it's an easy decision. So if the transformation is valuable to them, that's where you can charge a higher ticket offer. I suggest charging at least $3,000, because if you charge $3,000, you only need 4 people to say yes to you, and you just made 12 grand. So you broke past that 10K a month. Once you've made that money, then that's where you can take the capital that you've made from all your hard work and start putting it into things like ads. And again, this is like injecting steroids, and this is where things grow. Essentially, you're making the shift between trading your time to get the attention over to using your money instead of your time, because money is the less valuable resource. It doesn't seem like it when you're struggling financially, but at one point you'll want to make that shift from buying your time back. So I'm not telling you all this because it's just theory. I literally have grown to like 50K a month selling music production coaching to music producers doing just this. I created an offer that helped them produce like a professional. I got their attention through social media and sending messages every day. I put them on a phone call and I gave them the offer depending on what they needed. And I charged more money. So at least $3,000, $5,000, whatever. So if you have those 3 things, create an offer that is the solution to somebody's problem that's keeping them up at night, getting their attention, and selling them on the phone, charging a higher price so you can hit your income goal. And then you give them the transformation. Things that are simple are always simple to scale and grow bigger. If you have a complicated system, all that happens is you just make it more complicated when it grows. Simple scales, complex fails. Some of you guys can take this information and run with it. Some of you guys need further help. I'll leave a link down below to book a call if you want to learn the step-by-step of how to grow your high-ticket coaching business. You can book a call, speak to me or someone on my team. We'd love to give you further help and see if we can help you actually grow this thing. Please like and subscribe. Check out this training if you want to learn more about growing a high-ticket coaching business.